Okay, so it is just a buyer's market ahead. We are almost into a buyer's market. What does that mean? How does it impact you? If you're a seller or a buyer, should you buy? Should you wait longer? Are prices going to come down? We're going to kind of address it all right now. Let's dig in here. So when you take a look at this chart in particular, you'll see the light blue is transactions that have occurred above the asking price. You can see things were kind of steady from 2012 all the way through 2019. Then we got to 2020 and that light blue bar started to grow. So you saw it grow to its largest amount in 21, and you're going to start to see some of similarities when we go to other charts. You'll see that, obviously the pandemic, things kind of went way out of whack in terms of where they are historically, and things are kind of settling back in. So this one right here shows us that we are gradually coming up back to a point where most transactions are actually occurring below list price. Now, this is on a national basis. Keep in mind, one of the key things right now to understand is that regionalization is a thing, right? So depending on what market you're in and depending on what region you're in, the markets are varying greatly right now. So for example, up here in the Northeast where we operate in, the Hudson Valley of New York and Northern New Jersey, the market's still going at a pretty good clip. Prices have not come back down. They are continuing to increase, so on and so forth. And you take a look at some other local markets down in Florida and Las Vegas and some other places, and prices are on a slide and things are much tougher to sell. So when you bunch it all together as a nation, this is kind of what you get here on that chart. Now, that was data provided by Redfin. This also is provided by Redfin. And this is an interesting one here. I think this kind of tells the tale, and we're going to wrap up on the same point, which is if you're a seller, you really have to be careful in how you're pricing your home. You have to really be competitive. You can't just think, well, I know what my home is worth and I'm going to put it at this. I don't care what anybody else thinks. You probably could have gotten away with that 3-4 years ago, but now you can't. You have to look at your comps. You have to be competitive with your pricing. So taking a look here, this is the average discount for homes that sold below their original list price. This level that we're at right now in 2025 is higher than 2013, 2014. Those were tough markets, right? In 2013, 2014. But the difference between the market in 2013 and 14 and where we are right now is that sellers totally understood they had to be competitive. Otherwise, they were not going to sell their home, right? Now we're in a different place where we're coming off the highest of highs, literally, in the history of the industry. And, people who didn't sell during that time may still be thinking that it's there, but it's not. And then what happens is they end up listing their price too high. And then ultimately they have to come down significantly more than where they originally listed because they didn't, competitively price their home from the beginning. So it's not to say that price is collapsing and things are sliding. This chart just shows you how important it is to competitively price your home if you're a seller. So one other big topic that's out there right now is this ban on investors, institutional Wall Street type investors, in buying single family homes. Just wanted to, make everybody aware, if you're not already. It's all in the news. It's kind of a pervasive issue. But they're working on it. It's getting through. There's bills being written and, tabled between the Senate and the Congress, and Trump and his administration has their own idea how they want to do it. But the bottom line is, it's being held up right now, but I personally think it's going to get worked out. I think what's going on is and this really is the trick, right? Is how do you stop a free market from being able to function, right? Because that's essentially what it is. So if you put some sort of conditions in place as to who can buy a single family home, how do you ensure that that doesn't become a monster down the road of a problem, right? And I think that's why they're pumping the brakes and trying to figure this out, because they don't want to ultimately damage the way that the housing market operates. So I think that this is a really important issue to keep your eye on, especially if you're involved in the real estate industry, in the transaction, whether you're on the mortgage side, the title side, the real estate side, whatever. It's a very important issue that everybody should take note on and get involved in terms of, stating your opinion to your local congressman or congresswoman. All right. So the key takeaway from all of this, I think this kind of sums it up right here, which is 1.4% is the Case-Shiller Home Price Index year-over-year gain. This was from back in November, Q4 of 2024. It basically remained unchanged from October to November, 1.4%. The slowdown in home price growth is a relief for buyers, but prices are still up more than 50% from 2019. I think that is a very important thing for most people to keep in mind. If you're a seller and you're thinking, oh, I missed the market, you didn't miss it, right? Your asset, if you owned your home in 2019, on average, it's worth almost 50% more than it was just 6 years ago, 7 years ago. So yes, while you may be lamenting the fact that you didn't catch the most intense part of the market, it's still an unbelievable time to sell. So go with confidence, but just be competitive. That's the key, right? And if you're a buyer, I don't think that you're buying at a bad time. I think it's a good time. There's more choice. There is a better opportunity to negotiate. There's less pressure on deals in general. So you're going to be able to likely do a home inspection and all of those things that are important for you to make sure that you're making the right purchase. And I just don't see that prices are going to plummet. So I think if you are thinking about buying, now is a good time. You should keep going for it. All right, let's take a look at some local numbers. We like to do this every so often, and you can see the red dot is 2026. We only have a dot for 2026 because it was 1 month out of the year so far. And, you're seeing price still ticked up a little bit, right? But you can see the variance is minimal, if any at all. And you can see the last few years, there was significant increase in the month of January year over year, but this year there was none. So we're basically flat as to where we were in 2025, okay? So that's something to think about. Days on market, all right? Days on market is climbing a little bit, right? Not very much, but still it's over 50 days at this point. And this is for the 3-county marketplace that we cover, Orange, Sussex, and Passaic County, both on the New York and New Jersey side of the border. And then sold to ask ratio. This is the number of homes that are selling at or above full ask. So you can see that even still, on average, homes are still selling for above asking price, which is considerable. So we'll see how this year plays out, but you can see here this red dot is, it's lowering a little bit, right? And it's showing you that this market is stabilizing, so to speak. Two that I didn't show, I kind of started in the middle, forgive me, but new listings. This is really important, right? Because for this market to start moving again, we need listings. And it's still at a very low level, but it is slightly higher than what it was at 2025. So as the year goes on, we'll see what's going to happen with that trend. And then units sold, just perspective for everybody. Again, we've got basically the lowest amount of units sold in the United States of America in almost 30, maybe call it 40 years. So it's been a very slow moving market in terms of the number of transactions, but most of us who are in the business still know that there's intensity, right? Like if you have a listing that's well located, in good condition, and it's priced right, it's going to move. So you still have to, be ready as a buyer to pounce, because the good deals are still going really quick. Okay, that's all I have for this month. I thank everybody for joining in, and you can always watch our recordings on our YouTube playlist. You can get there simply by going to hmupdate.com, and we'll check in next month as we always do. Thanks for joining in.